Hello and welcome back to Warhammer 40k, RogueTrader. In the last episode, we've landed on Nargonus, we've killed every Dark Elder there was. But Pickens, we now need to return to the ship to talk with someone and probably end Act 2. I've leveled up everyone and I've changed not Idira Argenta. She's no longer a bounty hunter, but Archmaiden. She will now prioritize bolters and maybe flamers and rapid fire, because recently I started like that bolter mass murdering, and I also little respect Jay to be more utilize her gunslinging abilities, although I still need to get her better weapons. I probably may still have that plasma pistol somewhere, maybe, maybe not. If not, then well, there'll be probably a better one. So anyway, let's return back to the ship
None shall stand
and
in my
continue with
way.
the story. Alright, lots of options, lots of dogmatic. Island, let's go with less dramatic option. You know what, since we're dogmatic, I think Sister Agent will be the greatest option. Despite, you know, Jay's my fiancé or whatever, yeah, I want Sister Agent. Since I can have two... No, let's get full Emperor attendance. Yeah, the abominable intelligence means, I believe, artificial intelligence, and I believe in lore of Warhammer 40k, artificial intelligence led to the Age of Darkness. Now that humanity lost all its knowledge, and hence we have Adeptus Mechanicus and They're trying to understand everything, but anything that is self-aware of artificial intelligence is banned and should be terminated. So let's do it. But I think it will fail, at least I presume. Yeah, that's the artificial intelligence, I presume. Yeah, I think, yeah, though there are rules in the mechanicals, I think Pascal is a little exaggerating. That was nice. Okay, the plot thickens with our ship. What else? I think we need to go. We still have the crypt because either this is bugged or whatever. Footfall. We have to wait. I talk to people. And back to Dargonus. Footfall, okay. So let's talk to people.
Is that snake venom seeping from your lips? We, the children of Azurian, are no strangers to the art of war. We are not raiders, or butchers, or least of all, fools. When a craft world is beset by calamity, its inhabitants do not start a war with every monkey in the sector. If you are looking for enemies, look for them elsewhere. It is a mystery as inscrutable as the sigh of the last immortal, as deep as the waters of a dark ocean. And I can tell you little, for I was far away, on a mission with my unit. We returned at the appointed hour, but we did not find Cruderock in its celestial harbor. It happened many turns ago, or standard years, as you say. But I remember that moment as if it happened this very day. The memory of a loss is always stronger than the memory of a gain, especially when you lose something as significant as a home, or an entire world. We searched, we called out, we looked everywhere, but we saw only emptiness and the echo of calamity. Countless days passed before I found myself on the Lilithon and met some of my kin. Those refugees who had barely managed to reach our ancestral planet. Their stories were far from being the fruit of truth I so badly craved. Those who agreed to talk to me were few, for most saw me as a wayward daughter who had spurned the honorable paths. And they would not stop babbling about a terrible disease that spread black tendrils of pain over the paths of the Infinity Circuit and deadened our world one segment after another. The ones who survived fled in fear and wandered between the stars, until the Lilithon's warm light reached out to some of them. Some, like Muaran, lay the blame entirely on Monkey. However, I do not know the truth, but I hope, I desperately hope and pray to the gods that someday it will be revealed to me. Is idle curiosity a defining feature of the Monkey? Or are you trying to learn about the weaknesses of my people so you can destroy another world of the children of Asurion? Forgive me, Elentark, but I am not ready to immerse you in the font of my people's deepest mysteries. You are talking about something you cannot comprehend, Elentark. Waystones are not mere trinkets worn by my people. They are something greater. From birth until the last breath, the Spirit Stone belongs only to its owner, serving as an ever-present reminder that we are mortal. For it is the first refuge of the mind and the last refuge of the soul, which Cylon Thresh is so eager to devour. The souls of the children of Asurion move into the stones after death, and then they become a part of the Infinity Circuit on a craft world, so they can serve their people even when the body is gone. There is no crime more despicable than harming a Waystone and dooming the immortal soul of a child of Asurion to an eternity of torment in the maw of she who thirsts. We need Waystones as desperately as darkness needs starlight, and Monkey need air. And so we are bound to wander the galaxy in search of the old worlds that might give another craft world hope for existence. Each Monkey's heart is one of your lives. Each Waystone is the preserved soul of a child of Asurion. Cruderock cannot be described in your language. It can only be sung, encased in a filigree of sounds, a melody as complex and delicate as the Infinity Circuit, its energy network. It can be seen in the golden hues of sunlight, felt in the breath of celestial winds. Though it was an artificial world, it was just as alive as any real planet. But I must see clearly, not only light, but also shadows. I yearn to remember only Cruderock's beauty, but it had a dark side too. My world was isolated for too long. Like a lake of stagnant water, there was no movement or renewal, and even the sweetest outbursts of life soon turned fetid. Who knows? Who knows? Had there been no stagnation, had our elders not been so blind in their dogmatism and our youths not lacking in courage, then perhaps Cruderock would still be alive even now? Is idle curiosity a defining feature of the Monkey? Or are you trying to learn about the weaknesses of my people so you... I am afraid your life is too fleeting and your memory too feeble to encompass the entirety of my knowledge. My people ruled the stars when yours did not even have a name. But many of our songs and stories were lost, stolen by she who thirsts. I can tell you the children of Asurion lived, created, caressed the stars as if they were pearls on a string, until Cylon Thresh smothered our empire in her terrifying embrace. Different branches of the Eldari chose different paths to salvation. My ancestors chose an eternal journey through the starry void, living on craft worlds instead of real planets. We rescued countless wonders from the days before, but far from all. You saw this on the Lilithen. Not even we can always master the gates our ancient ones built. This is the story of the Asuriani. There are branches that chose a different path, gruesome and frightening. But I do not wish to tell you about them. That is our dark side, just as your kin have many dark sides of their own. Why ask this question? Is it idle curiosity, or something else? Do not turn your thoughts towards Cylon Thresh, whatever your motive. She is downfall. She is hunger. She is the enemy of all that is good in the universe. She is an enemy to the Eldari, and I hope to you as well. We are as different as starlight and its reflection in a muddy puddle. But we share a common enemy. Constancy is our strength. As you wish, Elantark. What do I see? Your words ring with the desire to know the soul of another. But will you be able to comprehend my answer? You and I, Elantark, look at this world in very different ways. And I see many more facets, and deeper meanings, and brighter colors in it. But to capture the full truth of this world in the miserly language familiar to your ears will take time. I will come to you with an answer later. The minions of She Who Thirsts could sense my soul behind the thick walls and thin veil that separate your fragile lives from the roiling fury outside. A child of Asurian that dared to wander beyond the veil, within the reach of an outstretched claw, protected only by the barrier of unreliable monkey technology. It is too tempting a quarry for the monsters that serve Cylon Thresh. Our ships never venture beyond the veil, and I never traveled the way you do, monkey. Elantark, I admit this was a novel experience. I lost composure, let dismay into my heart, and almost strayed from the path. This moment of hesitation drew the attention of She Who Thirsts. But I summoned my will and used the knowledge of meditation to achieve balance, and hide my soul behind an impenetrable wall of resolve. Future journeys beyond the veil will still be difficult, but I will steel my heart and not let the hounds of Cylon Thresh pick up my scent ever again. What do you wish to talk about? I followed my path. Do you know what a path is to the children of Asurian? It is more than a chosen, what do you call it, craft. The path is how each of us moves through the labyrinth of existence, inside and out, in life and in spirit. It is both a journey and a fortress. It protects us from She Who Thirsts. To stray from the path is to fall into her dark embrace. The first path I walked was the path of awakening. It granted me the ability not merely to look, but to see, and to take notice of what I saw. My second path could have been that of a warrior, but I chose differently. For the ability to see called me beyond the boundaries of my homeworld. Though not everyone was pleased by this decision, I stepped onto the path of the outcast. I gained the freedom to choose, to question, to doubt where the others merely bow before the wisdom of a farseer who dictates the will of destiny. And I will follow my path until I reach its pinnacle. It feels like I am in the belly of a bird with steel wings. Cold and unliving, but stubbornly blazing through the dark. It lacks life with its light and beauty, But although your vessel cannot even remotely be compared to a craft world, I feel strangely satisfied. We, the Assyriani, are born and dwell on craft worlds. To find myself on a moving world again, even one such as yours, is a source of much joy. The words of truth sound like music. This is what our people say.
So yes.
The Lilithon is purifying herself of the corruption brought by the servants of Cylon Thrash. Gardens and birds, animals and people. Many are gone forever, and even more are corrupted beyond healing. But the Lilithon is stronger. This world will live. My kin are probably still looking for a means to enter the webway. May the Lilithon spirit aid them in this endeavor. Beyond the gate lies salvation, and perhaps even knowledge about the fate of Kruderok and the remaining survivors. The outcasts my path led me to had a saying. Let me translate it for you. If you fall off a cliff, grab the roots and do not ask if they belong to a weed or a noble rosebush. You are the root I grabbed, Ilantak, because I fell off a cliff. My homeworld is gone. My kin are either dead or hiding no one knows where. By joining forces with you, I may be able to nurture a seedling of the truth I so deeply yearn for. I refuse to discuss this with a monkey. We are but traveling companions who happen to be following the same road among the stars. Do not even try to get under my skin. It will not work.
Alright, we have learned as much as possible from her for now. Okay, let's continue.
You are spoiling me with the splendor of your presence again, Shireen. Have you decided to treat your soul to the fruits of my eloquence? Or... oh, I have...
Nothing new from you.
My apologies. 19% of my processing power is engaged in the analysis of my tech comrade's memory. My response time may be longer than usual. The data is scarce. His identification code is the same as mine, and his memory contains data confirming that the assassination did take place. Unfortunately, some of his memory was damaged by pulses broadcast by his battle harness. I can assert with some confidence that he was who he claimed to be, and that he served the Deus Mechanicus earnestly and eagerly. Notwithstanding his permanent state of agony, he was not cognitively dysfunctional. His desire to immediately destroy the object he had deemed profane was partly dictated by his engrammatic augmentics, which were receiving imperatives from his battle harness. In light of the oddness of our matching identification codes, I find merit in his hypothesis as to the existence of a clandestine malevolent agent or conspiracy operating inside our fraternity. No data available. I will hypothesize that the assassination was instigated by an enemy of the Blessed Amanat's doctrine. I accept the possibility that the assassins were targeting me, only to be led astray by Tarsus and my own identical identifiers. I am concerned about the fate of Archmagus Amanat. According to Opticon 2-2, he went missing in the wake of the incident on an Arch Mechanicus, the Hermetico. Information about that ship and its perishing has been purged from the archives. I accept the possibility that the incident on the ship, the concealed data, and the assassination have all been part of a single conspiracy. this statement is true. There were also the bodies we discovered in the hallowed electrodynamic cenobium of unknown infiltrators who had posed as members of the cult of the Final Dawn. There is merit to the hypothesis that all carriers of Magos Haneman's identification code are targets of persecution. I was not knowledgeable as to how popular Blessed Amanat's teaching was in explorator circles. The Cognizant's fleet is massive. His ideas might have found a larger following on its periphery than in the Mother Squadron. Of course, faith is dangerous. Faith is the prerogative of the spirit, and a spiritless mind is an enemy of all existence. Without faith, there is no meaning in anything. No point to any aspirations or limitations. But faith can take different forms. The form of prohibitions established by unknown elders. The form of an audacious violation of those prohibitions. The form of following dogma or of schism. The form of following the cycle or of discontinuing the cycle. In a system with two courses of action, schism is inevitable, and only one of these paths will be true, as truth is discreetly separate from untruth. Amanats did not reject any one specific prohibition, but found their cumulative effect to be oppressive. The system of rigid limitations had confined seekers of knowledge to a circular track, spelling doom for the thinking mind. And that cycle of repetition had to be broken. That was why he was dubbed the Messiah of Discontinuing. The Omnissiah has bestowed upon us the supreme mission, the quest for knowledge. The fact of its existence confirms that reason is yet to comprehend and quantify the universe in its entirety. This precludes the existence of any prohibition that could be considered universally relevant. All limitations need their exceptions, yet exceptions belie the inviolability of prohibitions. I will continue my research into the Blessed Martyr's memory with all due reverence. I have destroyed it.
Aw.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
Alright, we have learned more about Pascal's story.
They mean nothing to me. They're just words. A whisper. So quiet, I barely caught it. Like a feather landing on a pile of down. Something about damned ambitions, antiquity, terrible antiquity. And chance. Chance through it all. Oh, now I have a headache. And the stupid bloody whisper wasn't much help. Of course. Always at your service. Whenever you need me.
Okay, so she didn't provide anything useful. So talk to Abelard.
Lord Captain? No, definitely not. No, I don't recall anything like that. Lord Captain.
Nothing special here. Master Helmsman. So kill some more here. Alright. Argenta, do you have anything to say?
Lord Captain, your presence is welcome. And I wish to apologize for my prior coldness. After our first meeting, I was concerned that he would turn out to be another faithless offshoot of the von Valancius dynasty, like the traitor Conrad. But now I see before me a worthy leader and servant of the Imperium. I am glad to accompany you in your endeavors. If such is the RogueTrader's wish, although there isn't much I can tell, I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to know? Now that I can tell you, I come from everywhere and nowhere. I am the child of officers of the Imperial Guard. I was born in the hold of a warship. Grew up following my parents' deployments from one planet to another, and lost my family in the flames of a righteous war. My memory is like wafts of smoke over a still battlefield. The gray of a ship's plating, the strict cadence of life in military camps. My mother's uniform, I loved looking at it. Then, that battle, the rumbling, the shouting, and the soot, the screams of soldiers burning alive, and the gold of the regiment's Aquila, untouched by soot or blood, the last unsullied piece of a world that was going mad. That was my last memory of my mother, and of my former life, before the Exploratio and the novitiate, before my trials, before the vows. My own relic. It's the regiment's Aquila, or rather, the fragment that survived the attack, the explosions, and the fire. For me, it's a reminder that purity and radiance can be preserved, even in the heart of darkness. Become. It's such a strange word for it. It seems right, but is that how one talks about their destiny? If you're asking about the path itself, that's easy enough to answer. First, like many other orphans, I endured the Exploratio. Those years were rough, but I remember the hardship fondly. Few things can compare with the feeling of satisfaction from a past trial, even if it leaves your body aching from exhaustion, or your soul wincing in pain. I was one of the best among my peers, and I was selected for the novitiate in the ranks of the Adeptus Sororitas. When the hour came, I passed the trials and took my vows. The most joyous day of my life. The Emperor's light has always been with me, but to accept it with all your heart, to utter the oaths, that is a rapture like no other. Have I ever... But that would be shameful weakness, almost heresy. Of course not. I was born for this. I live by the Emperor's will, and in his light, I myself am the light. I must be the light. For myself, and for those who ask for my protection.
I think that means yes.
I was chosen to serve. But beyond that, I won't deny it. Few things elate me as much as the thought that the heretic felled by my shot will never again orphan a child. It is my pleasure to be candid. Of course, my mission is all I can think about. Gladly, listen. Long ago, there was a blessed world. Thousands of stars covered the sky there, so bright that its denizens hardly knew the darkness of night. Thousands of rivers nurtured the soil. Thousands of gardens bloomed every spring, and at every moment, thousands of prayers were flying into the clear air, thanking and praising the Emperor. But one day, the people learned the meaning of darkness. Like a storm, accursed heretics who had sold themselves to the archenemy descended upon the planet. Shells flew from the sky that desolated whole cities and burned the gardens and filled the riverbeds with the blood of the faithful. Smoke and soot swallowed the skies and the 1,000 stars that had once shone over the world. Among the handful of survivors was one orphan who had watched all her family die, and the garden she'd grown up in burned to ash. But in her heart, she knew the absolute truth. Just these 3 words. The Emperor protects. And knowing that, she never looked away from the black, terrifying, smoke-covered sky. There were no more bright stars to be seen, except for one. The one star. The bright star. The silver star shone in the sky. And when the orphan smiled at it, the one star fell right into her hands. All the faithful in every corner of the continent who saw the trail of the falling star recognized it as an omen and went looking for the place where it landed. And they rallied together. And with the light of the one star, they found their salvation. Yes, that was the beginning of her hagiography. It is known that she lived on a world where heretics staged a terrible insurrection. They wiped out all life on the planet, except those whom Saint Argenta managed to save with the one star, and with the strength of her faith. After that, she traveled between worlds, gripped by turmoil on her ship marked with a silver star, and brought hope to the faithful. Numerous accounts confirm this. Her coming helped people turn the tide of the war and wipe away corruption before the Imperium's main forces even arrived. Millions of people owed their lives to her, but the heretics, having realized their imminent defeat, sent the remnants of their forces after the ship with the silver star. It fell from the skies onto an obscure world. There are no definitive records of how old Argenta was at the time. In some chronicles, she's even called the Child Saint, but their credibility is questionable. Either way, she didn't live long, but she left a bright trail in her wake, like a falling star. If I only knew. Neither the hagiography nor the legends give a straight answer. Classical iconographers believed that the star turned into a banner woven from silver thread, which, when brought onto the battlefield, would shed light that blinded only heretics, but did no harm to the faithful. Most of them portrayed Saint Argenta as a girl carrying this banner. Others think that upon falling from the sky, the one star became a holy chainsword, which Argenta later used to strike down monsters and enemies of the Imperium. In some of the earlier engravings, Argenta is depicted wearing power armor with a silver star on her chest. One theological theory suggests that this armor was, in fact, the relic. Some even think that the one star is actually the ship on which Argenta traveled. I feel that my undertaking will be fulfilled when I find the answer that has eluded the Ecclesiarchy for millennia. I pray we find the way to Salus Prime soon. The ruinous powers must be aligned against us. They stand in the way of faith. One day we will reach Salus Prime and stand before the gates of Saint Argenta's ship. I know it. I believe.
Okie dokie, let's continue with our story because that was a lot of conversation. Let's do the ceremony and be off. Right, so that was ceremony. Okay, here's that interscale dude. So I believe what we are witnessing is some kind of child AI, and Pascal is learning it, teaching it how to behave. So those servitors that sort of gained conscience, what's he's doing? Alright, considering that Henrix is paranoid about something bad happening, and we have that one last guy to talk with, and we'll be talking a lot this episode. I mean, talking with other characters, so I think we'll be finishing for today, and we'll continue on the next one. So thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.